Your brain is the single most complex thing in the entire known universe. But here's the crazy part. It doesn't come with an owner's manual. Nope. It just runs on this set of secret rules. Rules that dictate literally everything. How you learn, how you change, even how you age. So today we're going to pull back the curtain and find out what those rules are.
So let's start with a question that I think we've all wondered about. Does your brain actually get worse at learning as you get older? I mean, it sure feels like it, right? You see kids just soaking up languages or new skills like they're sponges, while for us adults, it can feel like trying to run up a hill of sand. It just seems obvious that our brains get more rigid over time.
Well, what if I told you the real story, the one that neuroscience is uncovering, is not only different, but it's kind of the complete opposite of what everyone thinks? What's really going on inside your head is a paradox, and honestly, it's going to completely change how you think about your own brain's potential.
Okay, so at the heart of all this is a big word you've probably heard before, neuroplasticity. It's really just a simple but, incredibly profound idea. Your brain isn't some fixed concrete block. It's a living, breathing network that is physically changing every single second based on what you do, see, and think. It is literally your brain's built-in superpower.
But here's the catch. This superpower isn't just random chaos. Oh no, it is governed by a hidden set of rules. There are these deep biological mechanisms that turn it on, and other mechanisms that just slam on the brakes. And understanding these rules, well, that's the key to unlocking our ability to learn and grow no matter how old we are.
So let's start where it all begins, childhood. This is when the brain's learning ability is, well, it's legendary, right? We're going to call this the era of its open windows. Scientists have a name for these times, critical periods. The best way to think about it is like your brain is in sponge mode. During these very specific windows of time, your brain is just unbelievably sensitive to everything around it. It's rapidly wiring itself up for huge skills like vision or language or music, and it's doing it pretty much effortlessly.
So yeah, the young brain is all about fast, kind of messy, widespread learning. All of its windows are just thrown wide open to the world. The adult brain, though, it shifts its priority to stability. It takes all the stuff it already learned and focuses on making it super efficient and reliable. It really seems like those windows have been shut, maybe even locked for good. But are they really?
You see, to figure out how to learn as an adult, you first have to understand why the brain closes those windows to begin with. So it is time to meet the brakes on your brain.
What you're looking at here is the actual machinery of stability. Because think about it, after all that wild, rapid learning, the brain needs to lock it all in. If your brain kept changing dramatically with every single new experience, your world would be total chaos. So to prevent that, it develops this powerful set of molecular brakes.
Okay, first up in our braking system, we've got a special type of cell called GABA interneurons. I want you to think of these guys as the brain's traffic cops. Their whole job is to send out stop signals, making sure circuits don't get overexcited. They bring order and help to stabilize all those connections.
Next, you've got these incredible things called perineuronal nets, or PNNs for short. Now these are like a kind of molecular scaffolding that literally builds up around your mature brain cells. They physically lock the connections in place, making them super strong, efficient, and much more resistant to change.
And finally, there's myelin. If your brain's pathways are like electrical cables, myelin is the high-speed insulation that wraps around them. It makes the signals travel way, way faster and more efficiently. But just like that scaffolding, this insulation also makes the pathway harder to change. So together, these three things, the traffic cops, the scaffolding, and the insulation, create a stable, efficient adult brain.
Okay, so we've got these powerful brakes that are designed to limit change. But what happens when we do want to learn something new? How do we get around those brakes? Well, it turns out the brain also has a gas pedal.
And this is the most crucial part. Plasticity never actually goes away. It just gets put under very tight security. But we can hit the accelerator. We have brain chemicals like dopamine and acetylcholine that act like little gatekeepers. They signal to the brain, hey, pay attention, this right here is important. It's worth changing for. And things like intense focus, or even just putting yourself in a new stimulating environment, they do the exact same thing. They basically tell the brain it's time to adapt.
And right here, this is the proof. On the left, you're seeing a map of the hearing center in an untrained, older brain. It's a little blurry, little disorganized. But on the right, that's an older brain after focus training. Look at that.
The brain has physically reorganized itself. It's become sharper, more defined, a lot more like a young brain. This isn't just a theory, people. It's a visible, measurable, physical change.
Which brings us all the way back to the central mystery. We know the adult brain has brakes, but we also know it has an accelerator. So what is the real reason learning can feel so different, so much harder as we get older?
The common wisdom, the thing we all assume, is that the brakes just get stronger and stronger over time, right? That the brain gets more and more rigid. But that is not what the science shows at all. The brakes don't get stronger,
They get rusty. And that right there is the paradox. The very systems that were designed to create stability and order, they start to wear down. The traffic cops get less effective. The scaffolding gets weaker. The insulation starts to thin out.
And here it is. This is the mind-blowing shift. The myth is that aging means less plasticity, that the brain becomes rigid. But the reality is that aging leads to less regulated plasticity. The brain doesn't lock down. It actually becomes noisy and unstable. It starts changing too easily in response to everything, making it harder to learn a specific new thing because the real signal gets lost in all that background noise.
So the big takeaway is this. Your brain never, ever stops changing. It's always plastic. The real challenge, especially as we get older, isn't about trying to make it more changeable. It's about learning how to direct that change with focus and with intention to build strong, stable, useful connections. Your brain is always a work in progress. The only question is, how are you going to steer it?